This is online learning for February 3rd, 2022. So today we will be reading in Westlandia again and working on our Go sheet. In math, we're going to be adding and subtracting fractions again with cross multiplication or that butterfly method. You will only have one math assignment today, and there'll be some math questions on your Google quiz. In writing, we'll still be working on the topic of should we have a 4-day school week. You're going to start your planner today, which should include your 3 main ideas, and I also want you to work on getting some jot dots or key details that support those main ideas today. When you're finished, I'd like you to take a photo and submit that. And in science, we're going to be working on our space science project. So we've already been working on the essay portion. Today we're going to work on the model. All right, so let's go ahead and get into reading and talk about some instruction here. So today, you guys are going to identify the author's purpose in writing, Westlandia. Now, typically authors have 3 main reasons they write, and we've talked about this in class. One reason is to persuade, another is to inform, and the last is to entertain. You can remember those with the first letter of each. P-I-E spells pie. So if you can remember the word pie and author's purpose, that goes together. That will help you remember those. So P is persuade. Persuade means to convince somebody of something, to get them to do something. Inform, if an author's writing to inform, they're trying to teach you something, give you information, give you facts. And if an author's writing to entertain, they are just doing it for fun. They want you to enjoy the story, to feel something. That doesn't mean all stories are humorous, are going to make you laugh. Some of them are action-packed. Some of them might make you cry. But the point is just to tell you a story. That's entertainment. Now I'm going to attach a video underneath the morning message that will talk about the author's purpose a little bit more in case you have additional questions about that. So on your Go sheet, you're going to find a section that looks like this, author's point of view, and all you need to do is just pull out your pencil and circle which one you think the author's purpose was for Westlandia. Was the author trying to persuade you of something, inform you, or entertain you? So right now would be a good time to pause this video, go ahead and pull out your Wonders book, your Go sheet, and your pencil, and answer this question on your Go sheet. Okay guys, so the next section that we're going to be working on our Go sheet has to do with tone. But before we actually get into the Go sheet, let's talk about tone. This is a concept that tends to be a little bit more difficult. So when we're talking about tone, remember tone means like the emotion or the feeling the author uses when they're writing. The tone can be found in the text and in the pictures. The pictures can kind of give us clues. A lot of times the illustrators, which are usually not the author, may have read the text and drawn pictures that kind of go along with what's being said. So you can use those pictures as kind of a clue. We talked about it, I don't know if you guys remember, when we talked about tone originally, we watched the movie trailer for Mary Poppins, and then we watched one called Scary Mary, where someone had kind of taken the exact same footage, but they had darkened the colors and they'd used scarier music, and it gave it a very different feel. So today, while you are trying to figure out the tone of Westlandia, I want you to actually get into the text, and I want you to read. I was looking at this sentence in particular. I thought this was a great sentence that kind of gave me an idea of what the tone was. But as I read down the page, I found some other really good sentences. So I wouldn't necessarily stick to just this, but here it says, his parents noted Wesley's improved morale. It's the first time in years he's looked happy, said his mother. I really like that sentence. That kind of gave me an idea of the tone and what's going on in this page. In case you have additional questions about tone, I'm going to attach a video underneath the morning message, and you can go and watch that, and it'll just talk a little bit more about tone. The pages that we'll be working on are page 210 and 211. All right, let's go ahead and move from here. We're still going to be talking about tone, but let's talk about what we're going to do on our Go sheet. So on your Go sheet, you're going to find a section that looks a little bit like this, and there's a couple of things you are going to need to do. The first thing you're going to need to do is write down the page numbers that we're working on. We're working on pages 210 and 211. So here it says on pages 210 and 211 the overall tone was, and based on what you read on that last page, I want you to think about what is that feeling, what is that emotion that is really coming out on this page, and you're gonna write that down. Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it scary? Is there an element of courage to it? Whatever you think that is, I want you to write that there. And then you're going to find an actual sentence in the text, just a beautiful sentence that you liked. I picked that very first one, but like I said, I think there's some even better ones that are in that on that particular page. You're going to copy one of the sentences right out of the text onto this part of your Ghost sheet. Remember, whenever we're going to copy someone else's work, we need to use quotation marks just to show that we are using someone else's work and that it's not ours. Remember, quotation marks need to go at the beginning and end of our writing, and quotation marks look like that. Okay. All right. So right now would be a good time to go ahead and pause this video, write down your text evidence, and then come back to this video when you are done. And we're having some technical difficulties switching the page. There we go. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and move on. So we're still talking about tone. We're still on this section of our Ghost sheet, but at this point, you have completed this portion of it, and now we're going to just be down here in the bottom. So what I want you to do here is we talked about how tone is conveyed with the way the author writes things, but that the illustrator can also give us clues with the pictures. So I want you to look at this picture. It's on page 211. We've got Wesley here right up front. So I want you just to take a peek at this picture, really get in there, give it a good eye, and I want you to decide what about this picture tells you the tone of the story. So again, on these lines, you're not going to actually be writing proof because we're talking about the pictures, but just explain how the illustration or the drawings help you understand that tone or that mood that you had selected. So right now would be a good time to go ahead and pause. You're going to write on this section of your Ghost sheet just what the picture helps you identify as the tone. And then you can go ahead and put your Wonders book away in Ghost sheet because this will be the last that we're working on it today. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into math now. So math is just going to be a review from yesterday, so I actually put all the steps together on one page here. So just a reminder for us. When we're adding and subtracting fractions that do not have the same denominator or the same bottom number, we cannot just add them. That is not allowed. We have to find a common denominator. And the method that we're going to use for right now while we're online is cross multiplication or the butterfly method. So just a reminder, we're going to walk through these steps. First thing we do is we multiply the two bottom numbers together. This becomes that butterfly's bottom, and that's going to be our common denominator. Next, we multiply the numerator or the top number of the fraction on the left with the denominator or bottom number of the fraction on the right. So we're making this diagonal motion. And then we repeat step 2 with the other numerator and other denominator. So we'll be starting on the right, going to the left. When we are finished, we add and subtract our new numerators, the little antennas, and put them over our new denominator, which is our little butterfly bump. So we're going to look at some examples on our next page and actually give that a go. So here we go. We've got an addition and a subtraction here. We can see in both examples that we do not have the same denominators. We have different numbers, and if we have different numbers on the bottom, we cannot just add them or subtract them. That's a no-no. So we're going to go ahead and try our little butterfly method here again. So first thing I'm going to do, and even here before I start, just a reminder, when I do this, I always am going to have 3 multiplication problems. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to look in the problem and see if I need to add or subtract. And that's kind of it. So it's just a 4-step thing. So we're going to multiply these two bottom denominators to come up with our new denominator. So we have 3 multiplied by 6, and that gives me a product of 18. Okay, and that product is going to be our new denominator. I'm going to put that down here. Now, of course, eventually you'll want to learn how to reduce and simplify these, but we're not going to worry about that today. Okay, now I'm going to take the numerator over here, this top number, and I'm going to multiply it with the denominator on this fraction. to come up with my new numerator. So I have 1 multiplied by 6, and I get a product of 6. And then again on this side, I'm going to take this numerator, I am going to multiply it with this denominator. I have 2 multiplied by 3, and I get another numerator of 6. Now the original problem, if you can see it in there, was to add these numbers together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these 2 new numerators, my little antenna. 6 plus 6 gives me a sum of 12. I'm going to go ahead and write that there. And there's my answer to 1/3 plus 2/6. Let's go ahead and see how this works with subtraction. So we're going to go through those same steps. We're still going to do 3 multiplication questions, and then we will subtract. So first off, I need that new common denominator. So I'm going to take these 2 bottom denominators. I'm going to multiply those together. I have 5 multiplied by 2, and that gives me a product of 10. Product is the word for the answer to a multiplication problem. And then I'm going to multiply 4, the numerator here, with the denominator over here of 2. And that gives me a product of 8. And then again on this side, I'm going to take the numerator and the denominator 1 multiplied by 5, and that gives me a product of 5. My original problem asked me to subtract, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract these two. 8 subtract 5 is 3. The difference is 3. When I subtract, my answer is called the difference. And then I'm going to put my common denominator here on the bottom, and I get an answer of 3/10. Now, right now would be a really good time to pause this video and to go ahead and work on the math assignment that's in the attachments underneath the morning message. All right, so just to review, you could pause on this slide, go ahead and read through this. These are the things that you're going to need to know for your math quiz today. Writing. Today you will begin putting together your planner for writing. You're going to find your writing sources attached underneath the morning message. Our new topic again is should schools go to a 4-day school week? So today you need to draw out a planner, list your 3 main ideas on the left-hand side like we do in class, and then list your 3 jot dots or key details on the right for each main idea. And we're going to look at what that might look like. So here is my example. This is a copy of my planner. I do not want you to use all of my ideas, but you can use it as a guide to make your own. So here on this side of my planner, you can see the 3 main ideas that I selected. Okay, and then over here, I have 3 key details that support this. So I said I thought that we should not have a 4-day school week because it's expensive, and I listed some reasons why I thought that, because parents have to pay extra for childcare, parents have to pay for extra meals, and not only is it expensive, it's also a burden to parents. Parents worry about their kids if they have to leave them home alone. So what you're going to do today is make sure that your 3 main ideas are on one side of your planner, and that you come up with your 3 key details on this side that support your idea. You can add your proof if you would like. You can add a topic sentence if you would like, but you do not need to. Right now would be a really good time to go ahead and pause this video, get your planner started, and take a snapshot when you're done. You'll have to submit that to me. All right, and last, let's go ahead and get into science. So science, your essay should be done, and you should have shared your essay with me. I'm going to try to attach a video underneath the morning message today that just reminds you on how to share a Google Doc with me in case you've forgotten. Right now would be a good time to go ahead and pause this, finish up your final copy if you have not already, and if you have forgotten to share it, go ahead and pause anyway and go ahead and get that shared with me. All right, last, today I really want you to work on your science project. So you need to create a model that goes along with whatever you were learning about. If you're learning about rockets, if you're learning about Saturn, if you were learning about the atmosphere. Your model can be a variety of different things. You can make a digital presentation using Book Creator or Google Slides. You can make a piece of artwork depicting your topic. Like here that we've got a painting, or we've got some examples of posters. Or you can build a real 3D model or diorama. Dioramas are usually built with a shoebox. Okay, right now would be a good time to pause this video, go ahead and work on that model, and come back to this video when you are done. All right, last, guys, make sure if you're done that you get a book onto Biblionasium. You'll need to know the title of that and get a lesson of Freckle done. Have a great day, guys.